having anything to do before the Honorable William Sullivan, Justice of the Superior Court, now sitting in Plymouth, within and for the Commonwealth. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, before the court today, we have the continuation of the jury trial in the matter of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington. The Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody had a nice, restful evening last night. Thank you for your patience with us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you those questions, make sure everybody was able to follow my instructions. They're going to go over briefly our schedule for today and the schedule for tomorrow. All right, so let me get to those questions. The first question is, any member of the jury read, seen, or heard anything from any source that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? No. All right. Next question, is there any other serious matter of concern bearing on your service as a juror in this case that anybody needs to bring my attention at this time? No. All right, good. Thank you for following those instructions. Now, in regards to our schedule today, it's anticipated, as you know, in these cases, sometimes the best laid plans, but it's anticipated that we'll go this morning to about 11 o'clock. We'll take a break at 11. We'll come back. We'll take our afternoon break at 1 o'clock, and we'll go into the afternoon, probably somewhere between 3 and 4. All right, so that's today's schedule. Tomorrow's schedule, as best we can tell, we're going to do that view sometime probably in the morning. We're going to go to a couple of spots that have been mentioned in the testimony. Like I said, we'll go over a little bit more tomorrow, but you'll be getting out of it. We'll all going together in a bus with the court officers, the staff, the attorneys, myself, and we're going to get out of the bus. So, that's just a word for the wise for footwear and to double check the weather. I'll go into that a little bit more probably by the end of the day, but just in case I forget, that's what we're going to do. And then the thought would be after that, we'll come back. We'll probably go again till sometime around in between 3 and 4. Okay, so that's the schedule. And then at the end of the day tomorrow, I'll address kind of where we are in regards to the timeline and this kind of overall schedule, just so you have some kind of idea where we are. All right, so with that, we're going to return to the case on trial. Commonwealth is presenting its evidence. Attorney Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth calls Officer Stephen Hall.
Good morning. Good morning. Not right here, raise your right hand for the clerk, please.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you have been shared with the jury and that the outcome between the Commonwealth and the trial and impartially truth and the truth and
Thank you. All right, good morning. Morning. All right. So I'm going to ask, keep your voice up so the jury can hear you. Yes. And with that, Attorney Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Stephen Hall, Stephenhall.
And your date of birth?
3/26/1983.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a Duxbury police officer?
Since 2015, so roughly 11 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
I was.
What shift were you working?
The 4 to midnight.
And would that be 4 p.m. to midnight?
Yes.
And were you in uniform?
Yes.
Were you in a marked cruiser?
Yes.
And were you on patrol?
Yes.
And being on patrol, were you alone or with a partner?
I was alone.
Further directing your attention to approximately 6:11 p.m. At that time, did you receive a dispatch to go to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
I did.
And do you recall approximately where you were when you received that dispatch?
I was at the Lincoln Street Fields in Duxbury.
And so how long did it take you to get from there to 47 Summer Street?
7 to 10 minutes.
And did you go to 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
And what did you see when you arrived there?
When I arrived, it was just a house. There was a gate open on the left side of the house.
I'll show you a few exhibits that have already been marked. Exhibit 32. And exhibit 33. Is this the house you responded to?
Yes.
And showing you exhibit 34. Is that the left side of the house?
It is.
And exhibit 35 is the gate that you went in depicted in this exhibit.
It is.
First officer on scene?
I arrived simultaneously with Officer Josephine.
And is he also an officer with Duxbury Police?
Yes.
And so did you both head to that same direction or did you go in different directions?
We both went to the backyard as we were dispatched to.
And you said you went to the left, correct?
Yes. We heard a male voice calling for us on the left side. So.
And that's where you headed?
Yes.
Okay. And did you encounter a male in the backyard?
Yes.
And did you later learn his name was Patrick Clancy?
I did.
What was his demeanor?
He was upset. He didn't know what was going on. So.
And did you see anyone else in the backyard?
No.
Okay. Did you see anyone on the ground?
Yes.
And who was on the ground?
Miss Clancy.
Is that Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And do you see her in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point to her?
No issue with ID, Your Honor.
Record may reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Thank you. Where was she positioned?
She was on the ground if you were looking at the backyard on the right side.
Showing you what's been previously marked as exhibit 38. Is this the back of the house?
It is.
And showing you what's been marked as exhibit 37. Do you see the area where the defendant was when you entered the backyard?
Yes.
Mind standing up with court permission and just pointing that out to the jurors?
So in this area.
And if the record could reflect, he's pointing near the window well to the far right side of the back of the house.
Record may reflect that.
When you saw her in that location, do you remember where her head was?
Her head was towards the house,
And where were her feet?
pointing out away from the house.
Are you trained in first aid as part of your job?
Yes.
And do you carry equipment with you in case you have to provide first aid to someone?
Yes.
When you saw the defendant on the ground, did you go to her and observe any injuries?
She had cuts to both wrists and to the left side of her neck.
The cuts to her wrists, were those actively bleeding when you saw them?
No, they were not.
When you saw the cuts to her neck, were those actively bleeding?
No.
Did you, based on your training and experience, feel the need to provide any medical care to those cuts or use any of the equipment you had to tend to those cuts?
Not at that time.
Was she conscious?
Semi-conscious, in and out of consciousness.
And what was she doing that gave you that indication?
She would wake up and move around and then kind of just go still again.
And when you say she would move around, what parts of her body was she moving?
Just her head, really.
Was she able to speak to you?
She wasn't, no.
Was she making any sounds?
She was just like, it sounded like she was in pain.
So something like moaning or something like that?
Yes.
While you and Officer Josephine are there, do other first responders, such as firefighters, start to arrive?
Yes, they started to arrive, and I went to the to gate to direct them where to go.
And how did you know they had arrived?
You could hear the sirens.
So you heard the sirens and went to the gate to tell them to come to that side?
Correct.
While you were doing this, did Patrick Clancy stay with you?
At one point, he went inside to say he was going to check on his children.
And did you see what entrance he used to go into the house?
He went towards the backslider. And
Shortly after Patrick Clancy went inside the home, did you receive a call on your radio?
yes,
And what did you hear on your radio?
dispatch said that he couldn't wake them up.
And did you know what they were talking about when you initially heard that?
Not really, no.
Did something then catch your attention?
Yeah, I heard a loud scream from inside.
And could you tell where it was coming from?
Just inside the house.
And the screaming, was it words or just sound?
It was just a sound.
When you heard that screaming, what did you do?
Myself and Officer Josephine ran towards the slider and entered into the house.
And when you entered into the house, do you remember what room you entered into?
Into a kitchen.
And when you entered into the kitchen, could you still hear that screaming?
No. We could hear he was talking, but there was screaming was done.
When you said he was talking, who was talking?
Patrick Clancy.
So you could hear Patrick Clancy talking at that time?
Yes.
And could you tell where he was?
Yes, he was in the basement.
And did you head to the basement stairs?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 41. Are these the stairs that you went to?
Yes.
Did you go to the bottom of the stairs?
I did.
Once you got to the bottom of the stairs, is it accurate that you either have to go right or left?
Correct.
Which direction did you go?
We heard Patrick Clancy talking from the right, so we went in that direction.
Could you hear what he was saying?
Do you mind if I?
You don't recall?
Yes.
I have no objection, Your Honor. We need to revote on that one with this report.
Do you recall him saying, I can't wake them up, I can't get them up?
Yes.
And do you remember his demeanor as he was saying that?
He seemed very upset.
What did you do in response to that?
He came from a back room, so we ran into that back room.
Just going back to when you came down the stairs and turned to the right, do you recall what type of room that was when you went to the right?
It looks like a workout room, like a workout area.
I'm going to show you a few pictures here. If you could just look at them and tell me if you recognize what they depict.
Yes.
And do you recognize these to be photographs of that workout room that you entered into when you went to the right?
Yes.
We could have these marked as the next few
No
exhibits
objection.
All right, those may be admitted.
or exhibits. Exhibits 89 to 92. Sir, showing you exhibit 89. Is that the view when you first come down the stairs and turn to the right?
Yes.
And then showing you exhibit 90, are those exercise bands there tied to the closet door?
Yes.
91, just a close-up of that, correct?
Yes.
Then 92, What are we seeing in this photograph, sir?
That was the back room that seemed to be coming from.
That Patrick was coming from?
Yes.
You also looked at 2 photographs from that room. Are those fair and accurate depictions of how the room looked that day?
Yes.
We could have these marked as the next 2 exhibits, please.
All right, they may be admitted.
Sir, did you head to that back room?
I did.
And what did you see when you got to that back room?
Just past the door on the left side, there was a body of a young child.
And do you remember what position the child was in?
He had his feet towards the door and his head towards the wall.
And was he on his back or his stomach? Or...
He was on his back.
And do you recall what he was wearing?
He was shirtless. I believe he was just in a diaper or underwear of some sort.
And showing you
Thank you.
Exhibit 93, if you wouldn't mind just pointing out where you saw his body. Record reflect he's pointed to the area of the yellow exercise band.
It may reflect that.
And sir, that yellow exercise band, did you see that in that position when you saw the body of the child on the floor?
Yes.
Exhibit 94 was that position. Sir, did you later learn that child's name was Dawson Clancy?
I did.
And can you describe his physical appearance when you saw him?
He was discolored, like a bluish purple.
Do you remember what his face and neck looked like?
No.
What happened next?
I called for paramedics to come to the basement. I also called for a supervisor, and Officer Josephine picked up the child, and we ran him outside through the front door to the ambulance.
And did you do anything after that, after giving Dawson to EMTs?
We ran back down into the basement to check to see if we could find other children.
And what made you think there were other children to find?
When Patrick Clancy said, well, I can't wake them up, instead of just a singular.
And so when you went back inside, did you go back down the basement stairs?
Correct.
And this time, did you go to the left?
Yes.
Sir, showing you a series of photographs. You could just tell me if they clearly and accurately reflect how the left side of the basement looked on January 24th, 2023 when you went in there.
Right, just for the record, they don't need to lay a foundation. I agree to the photographs, no objection to any of them, so we don't have to go through all the
All right,
foundations.
thank you. All right.
You recognize it?
Yes.
Could I just mark this the next exhibits, please? Exhibits 95 to 102.
Thank you.
Sure. Sir, showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 95. Is this what you saw when you went down the stairs and went to the left, that first view?
Yes.
And then showing you Exhibit 96, is that a further view as you go into the room?
Yes.
Now, when you went into that room, what did you see?
There were two children on the floor, motionless, and EMTs and paramedics were working on them.
And did you later learn that those children were Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
Did you do anything to assist the medics at that time?
Excuse me. I asked if they needed any equipment.
And did they ask you to get some equipment?
They asked me to grab a heart monitor.
And did you do that?
I went and found the fire captain to ask where I could grab one. And he was pretty upset. So I ended up going back downstairs into the basement.
At some point in time, actually, if I could show you Exhibit 96 again and just ask if you could just point to us where you saw each child.
Okay.
Here.
So for the record, the first area you pointed to was in between the blood stain and the black exercise band, is that correct?
Correct.
And then the second area was over toward, in front of that small nightstand or some type of shelving unit.
Yes.
At some point in time, did you go back outside?
Yes, they stated they need an officer with Lindsay Clancy.
And I'm going to show you a photo here outside near that window well that's towards the right of the house. Is that where Lindsay Clancy was, where that medical debris is?
Yes.
And just showing you another photograph. Is that just showing further to the right in a broader area of that same scene?
Yes.
I could have the close-up mark as the next exhibit and the broader photo as the
All
following.
right, they may be admitted.
It's 103 and 104. While you were out there with the defendant, were medical staff, paramedics treating her?
Yes.
And did you happen to look up?
Yes, I did.
What did you see when you looked up?
There was an open window with blood marks around the window.
And did you also see blood marks on the shingles below that window?
I did.
Showing you a photograph here. So up at the top, is this the open window you're referring to?
Yes.
Zooming in on the shingles here to the left and right, just below that window, are those the blood marks you're referring to?
Yes.
And here in this photograph, you had mentioned blood marks on the upper window. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
And then here at the top of the lower window, these marks here, are those the other blood marks that you saw?
Yes.
If we could have these photos marked as the next exhibits.
All right, they may be admitted.
While you were out there in the backyard, did you see a ripped or, oh, I'm sorry. 105 through 108. While you were outside, did you see any ripped or torn screens on the ground?
No.
What did you do next?
I just went over to the paramedic, asked what I can help him with. He said she was She was good. But she kept taking her face mask off for oxygen. And so I just kept replacing it back onto her face.
And when you say she, are you referring to Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And did you then help them get the stretcher to the ambulance?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
All right. Reddington?
Thank you for your incredible service.
Thanks. All right. Sir, you may step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Attorney Sprague?
Commonwealth calls Officer Brian Josephine.
Right here, it's right next to the clerk, please.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you shall give to the court Thank you, sir. You may be seated.
Register, please, sir.
All right, good morning, sir. All right, counsel?
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Josephine, J-O-S-E-P-H-I-N-E.
And what's your date of birth, sir?
June 13, 1990.
And where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
I started there in April of 2020.
And did you work for the Plymouth Police before that?
Yes, I did.
And how long did you do that?
Almost 5 years.
What is your current role?
I am patrol officer.
Back in January of 2023, what was your role with the Duxbury Police Department?
I was the school resource officer for Alden and Chandler. I work with kids, kindergarten through 5th grade.
Directing your attention specifically to January 24th, 2023, were you working an overtime shift that day?
Yes, I had picked up an overtime shift.
And what shift was that?
It was 4 to midnight, but I was scheduled to work till 8 p.m.
8 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you were scheduled to be there from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., is that correct?
That is correct.
And you were in a cruiser, in a marked cruiser in a uniform?
Yes, I was fully dressed in Duxbury Police uniform. I was in a marked cruiser, Duxbury Police 172.
And did you receive a dispatch at approximately 6:11 p.m. to go to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, we did.
And when you say we, were you with a partner or were you alone?
No, I was by myself. We ride single in a cruiser there.
Okay. So when you say we, do you mean that it was dispatched to all officers on patrol?
So usually with critical incidents calls, they put it over to dispatch and they'll say, Duxbury police cars, start making your way to a certain address. That way everyone can get there as quickly as possible.
Okay. And so then you knew at that point to go to 47 Summer Street.
Yes, ma'am.
And approximately how long did it take you to get there?
I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes.
So you were relatively close by when you received the dispatch?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And when you arrived at 47 Summer Street, what did you observe?
Dispatch was giving me description of the house. It took probably 15 seconds for me to identify the house. Parked in the street. I saw the number of the house and I made my way. I believe it was a mudroom that I went to.
Showing you Exhibit 33, when you say the mudroom that you went to, did you actually go inside of the house or did you go to the door to the mudroom?
I went to the door to the mudroom to check if that was unlocked so I could make my way to the back of the house.
And is that door depicted in this photograph?
Yes, it is.
And is it the door to the left of the garage?
Yes, it is.
And was the door locked or unlocked?
It was locked at that time.
So what did you do next?
I radioed dispatch just for confirmation of where that party we were trying to get to was located. They told me it was around back of the house, so I tried to make my way that way.
And when you went to the back of the house, how did you get there?
Well, referring back to the picture where the car was parked, I went to the right side, and I went around the garage. There was a fence, and I went over the fence, I believe.
So showing you exhibit 33, again, you went by these cars and around the house to the right.
Yes, that's correct.
And showing you exhibit 37, does that mean that you would have been coming around the house over here by the garage on the left and in the porch, the deck?
Yes, that's correct.
And when you came around there, what did you see?
I made my way. I observed two parties, one lying in the ground and one standing over it. And I started making my way towards the other end of the house, which is towards this fence, as you guys can see in reference to that photo.
And so when you say the other end of the house, are you talking about this area here, the father's furthest right windows?
Yes, that is correct.
And the person that was standing, did you later learn that was Patrick Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And the person on the ground, did you later learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And at some point in time, was Officer Hall also back there with you?
Yes, he came from this side over here, the opposite direction in which I came.
So facing the house, he would have come around the left side of the house if you're facing the house?
Yes, he parked on the street and came from this side, the opposite of where I came from.
Okay. And do you recall what Patrick Clancy was doing when you first saw him?
He was standing over Lindsay at that point. It appeared that he was trying to communicate with her. I observed him with a cell phone. It was kind of down by his side, so I don't know if they were talking or what, but it was probably a split second, and then he turned in my location, saw me because I was illuminating the yard with my flashlight, and then that's when me and him crossed paths.
Okay. And so you said you saw him with his cell phone by his side. Was it in his hand by his side?
Yes, I believe it was in his left hand.
Okay. And you say you crossed paths with him. Approximately where did you cross paths with him?
It was probably right by the bulkhead, I would say.
And so in the photograph to the right of the deck is the bulkhead, is that correct?
That is correct.
And where was he headed?
He was heading, I believe, up towards the deck. Yeah, obviously I didn't know it at that time, but he was just walking past me pretty fast in an abrupt manner. So.
And did he say anything to you as he passed?
No, he did not.
And after you crossed paths with Patrick, where did you go?
I went to the female party.
And did you speak to her?
I attempted to.
And what did you say?
I just was trying to get basic information, where she was hurt, where she needed attention, anything I could do to kind of help her until fire arrived.
And did she respond to your questions?
She mumbled, and it wasn't a definitive answer.
Did you observe any injuries?
Yes, she was laying on the ground. There was cuts to her right wrist, I believe, and to the right side of her neck.
And were those cuts actively bleeding at that time?
They were bleeding, but not profusely.
Did you, are you trained in first aid?
Yes.
Did you feel the need to put pressure on those wounds immediately?
No. We also carry medical equipment such as tourniquet, gauze, stuff like that. And I believe due to the circumstances that I didn't need to utilize those tools.
And the tourniquet that you carry, is that in case someone has some type of cut where an artery has been damaged or cut?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you're trained to recognize when it's something serious like an artery spraying blood everywhere versus a cut that doesn't need a tourniquet?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And you didn't see the need for a tourniquet?
I did not know.
And based on your training in first aid and as a police officer, as a first responder, did those wounds appear life-threatening?
No, they did not.
Did other emergency personnel from the fire department begin to arrive?
Yes, so I would say I tried to talk to Ms. Clancy for probably 30 seconds to a minute. And at that point, coming from that opposite side of the house, I observed Duxbury fire personnel show up. And our protocol is to kind of turn the medical over to them because they're more highly trained than we are.
Okay. And at some point in time, do you hear something?
Yes.
What do you hear?
Myself and Officer Hall were standing by that window and we just started hearing loud screams.
And what did you do when you heard those loud screams?
We immediately were trying to figure out where they were coming from. I'm not sure if dispatch or something came over the air and said something about the basement, but we both just started making our way back towards the deck part of the house.
Did you go in through the sliding glass doors?
Yes, we went up the deck and through the sliding glass doors into the kitchen.
And did you then head to the basement?
Yes.
Okay. And could you hear any sounds coming from the basement as you entered the kitchen?
Yes, it was the exact screaming that I heard from the window.
And did you go down the stairs to the basement?
Yes, we did.
And did you see anything as you went down the stair after you went down the stairs?
So we went down the stairs and there was a picture at the bottom of the stairs, I believe, of Lindsay and Patrick. And the basement splits off into two, a right and a left area. And the screams were coming from the right area. So that's where we directed our attention to first.
Okay. And did you see Patrick?
Yes. That right side opens up and it's like 2 rooms, I believe. So we went into the first room, which was kind of dark and there was some clutter and stuff around, and Patrick was in that back room at the time.
So showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 92. Is that the doorway into that back room?
Yes, it is.
And then Exhibit 93, is that the inside of that back room?
Yes, it is.
And do you recall what, if anything, Patrick was saying as you encountered him?
Upon his observation of us, myself and Officer Hall, he proceeded to head in our direction, leaving that room. And at that point, he looked up and he screamed, "She killed the fucking kids."
And after he said that, where did you go?
Once he cleared himself from the door frame, we were able to look inside the room where we observed what appeared to be a child laying motionless on the floor.
And did you later learn his name was Dawson Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And how was he positioned?
He was laying on his back, kind of close to the gym bag for reference of that.
Showing you Exhibit 93 again, you referenced the gym bag. Is that the bag to the left of the child's toy?
Yes.
And so you're saying that he was in that area when you first saw him?
Yes, he was.
And do you recall whether he was on his back or his stomach or something else?
He was on his back.
And do you recall his physical appearance?
Like I said, he was laying on his back. His head was tilted to the right-hand side. Looked at him kind of in the face area once we got closer, and his face was white, gray, lips were blue, eyes were bloodshot. Looked like blood vessels were popped in his eyes.
Did you notice any injuries to his neck?
Seeing that, my first instinct was to kind of grab his head and tilt it to the side, see if I can get those. But I mean, based on my training experience from previous incidents, I knew it wasn't going to be good. So I moved the head. That's where I observed some red marks on that right-hand side.
Of the neck?
Yes.
And in that exhibit, 94, there was a yellow exercise band, correct?
Yes.
And I believe in prior testimony, you may have called it a blue exercise band. Is that correct?
Yes.
But it's clearly yellow in the photo, right?
Yes, it's clearly yellow. I mean, there was...
Testing the color of the exercise band.
Right, good.
So what was your focus at the time?
the child.
And Once you saw him there with these injuries, what did you do?
Based on my observations, I knew there wasn't really much I could do. So I picked the child up, went chest to chest, and as I did that, it was kind of like a mucus or a foam that leaked out of his mouth onto me. I grabbed him, went back towards the way we came down into the basement, and I headed up to the stairs where Sergeant Homestead was coming down the stairs, and I started yelling to him to get out of the way. Went back up the stairs and then into the kitchen, directly adjacent to the stairs. There's the front foyer, like hallway, and I went out the main door into the driveway.
And was there an ambulance in the driveway at that time?
Yes, the ambulance was backing up and had pretty much just parked, and one of the fire was walking around to the stretcher out back. So I rushed over with Dawson and I put him on the stretcher, and that's when Sergeant Homestead and fire personnel started working further on him.
What did you do next?
I went back into the house.
And why did you go back into the house?
I remember hearing something about kids and multiple, and I just went back.
And when you went back in the house, did you go to the basement?
Yes, I went back in that front door, back down to the basement, and this time I went to the left-hand side.
And when you went to the left-hand side of the basement, what did you see?
Pretty much directly in my sight was an older female laying on the ground, and then in the corner there was like a younger baby.
And when you say an older female, you're referring to that she was older than Dawson?
That's correct.
And did you later learn her name was Cora Clancy?
I did.
And did you assist in treating her?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
So when I got down to the basement, 2 fire personnel were already on scene. One was working on the baby and one was working on Cora. Communicated with them. We worked together, and I took over doing chest compressions of Cora.
And were you able to see any injuries on Cora at that time?
Yes. She had kind of the same injuries that I explained with Dawson. The pale tint, bluish lips, bloodshot eyes, blood vessels popped. But this time she also had like dried blood around her mouth.
And did you also see an area of blood near her on the floor?
Yes, there was a relatively large area of blood on the floor. Actually, when doing CPR on her, I was beside her, and that blood seeped through my pants, so I ended up moving her a little off to the side so I could position myself better.
Just showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 97, this red brown stain on the rug. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
While you were doing chest compressions on Cora, what was the firefighter doing?
The one that had previously been attending to Cora then went to the child that was in the corner.
And eventually, was Cora put on a stretcher and brought out?
Yes, eventually. I think the baby was brought out first because I think they mentioned at some point they might have found like a faint pulse or something like that. So they got him out first, and then we were able to get Cora up.
So that entire time while you're in the basement, are you still giving chest compressions to Cora?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it felt like forever, to the point where I think I radioed for assistance for another officer to come down.
And did others come down to assist?
Yes, Officer Cahill came down to further assist, where I continued with chest compressions, and he used a bag valve mask to give rescue breaths.
And a bag valve mask, is that something that goes over someone's face, a mask that's attached to a bag and you squeeze it to give air?
Yes, it's an alternative breathing apparatus.
At some point, do you go back upstairs to the first floor?
Yes.
And do you encounter Patrick Clancy when you go upstairs?
Yes, so when they removed Cora, myself and Officer Cahill went back upstairs, where I encountered Mr. Clancy in the kitchen.
And what was his demeanor in the kitchen?
He was still frantic, kind of in shock, still screaming and losing himself. And I think at that point, I don't know, one of us requested that we get an ambulance for him as well.
Thank you, sir. Nothing further.
Attorney Reddington?
I'm sorry, I have no questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me sit down. Thank you.
Someone calls PJ, have a seat.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm objecting, renewing my objection that I filed on the repetitious
Right.
nature.
All right, if I can see it, Sarah. Stretch your legs, we'll bring you right back in a couple of minutes with the next witness, okay?
Court, all rise. Jurors, closing notebooks, please. Morning.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury, no matter how coming between the Commonwealth and the Commonwealth, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Watch your step, please.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
If I may.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record
PJ Hussey, Hussey,
and your date of birth?
5/5/1963.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department,
And how long have you been a firefighter?
32 years.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
What's the difference between an EMT and a paramedic?
Paramedic has advanced life-saving skills, intubation, and medicine we can use on the patients.
And is there a certain type of training that you have to have as a paramedic?
Yes, every 2 years.
And to first qualify as a paramedic, what do you have to do?
There's a paramedic class that you take upwards of 2 years.
So you take that paramedic class. Is there a test you have to take at the end?
A state test, yep.
And once you pass that state test and become a paramedic, you have to do continuing education. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And did you take that initial training, pass that initial test, and then pass all subsequent training to be a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
About 17 years.
What is your current role with the Duxbury Fire Department?
I'm a captain, which is considered a shift commander.
And in January of 2023, were you in that same role?
Yes.
What does a shift commander do?
Oversees the operations of the town as far as firefighting and medical services.
How many fire departments, or stations rather, how many stations does Duxbury Fire Department have?
Duxbury has 2.
And how far apart are they?
About 10 minutes apart.
And are they staffed differently from
Yes.
each other?
Yeah.
And how are they staffed?
At the central station, there's a captain and usually 3, and the other station, there's 2, just 2 firefighters.
And for Duxbury, are all the firefighters that work for Duxbury Fire Department also paramedics?
Not all. We have two EMTs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
The rest are medics.
I'm sorry?
The rest are medics.
And when you say medics, you're talking about paramedics?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So directing your attention to January 24th, 2023, were you working that day?
Yes.
And what shift were you working?
My own shift. My group, shift 1.
And what is shift 1?
It's just we have four shifts, and I'm just group 1, shift 1.
Is there a certain time that spans? Time of day?
Nope. 24-hour shifts. 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock the next morning.
Okay, so you were working 8 o'clock in the morning on January 24th,
Yes.
and your shift would end 8 o'clock in the morning on January 25th?
Correct.
And were you working in that capacity as a shift commander on the 24th?
Yes.
Now, do you recall a call coming in shortly after 6 p.m. Dispatching you to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes.
And did you respond to that scene?
We did.
And how many vehicles and personnel responded?
My car, the shift commander car, ambulance 1, and engine number 2.
And what was the personnel in each of those vehicles? Not names necessarily, but how many people?
We put, usually it's 2 in the ambulance, but because of the severity of the call when it first came in, we put 3 people in the ambulance, a driver plus 2 medics in the ambulance, and then 2 firefighter medics in the engine from the other station.
Okay, so that would be 6 people in total?
6 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you have anyone from the second station respond initially?
We all came at the same time. We all got dispatched at the same time.
So would that have been 6 people total from both stations or 6 people from the central station?
6 people total from both.
And when you arrived on scene, what did you see upon arrival?
There's a couple of police cruisers that were there already, just beat us in. And then we had to go up back to where the patient was located.
And when you refer to the patient that was out back, was that Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And did you head to the backyard?
Yes,
And did you see her on the ground?
I did.
And were you personally treating her, or was it the other paramedics that
The
were
other
doing?
paramedics were treating her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were you doing?
Just supervising the call, just make sure things are handled appropriately as a shift commander.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 37. Do you see the area where you were in the backyard that night on the screen?
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind standing up and just pointing where you were.
The patient was crossing right here. I was over here in this area here.
And if the record reflect, you pointed to the patient being to the right of the metal window well, and you were standing to the left of the window well, is that correct?
Yeah, she was right below this window, so someplace she was right in this area.
Okay.
And I was just looking for her over.
And when you said right below this window, you're pointing to the far right second story window?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
At some point in time while you were standing there, did you hear a loud noise?
I heard a scream.
Okay. And when you heard the scream, could you tell where it was coming from?
It sounded like it was coming from the basement.
And did you look anywhere in particular?
Yeah, I was able to look through the basement window and able to see a male person downstairs.
And when you say the basement window, are you referring to that first
Yes.
metal?
Yes.
Well?
Yes.
That was in exhibit 37. Just showing you, again on the screen here, what's been marked as exhibit 50. This window here on the right, does that fairly represent the window that you looked through and could see down into that
Yes.
basement office?
Yeah.
And was the light on in the basement office when you looked in?
A light was on, yes.
And what did you see when you looked in the window?
After I heard the scream, I saw a older male gentleman, now knowing it was Patrick Clancy, unwrapping something from a child's head.
And when you saw the male unwrapping something, can you demonstrate the motion that they were doing?
Yeah, the child was on the ground. The head was towards the window, so the head was towards the back of the house, and he picked the child up, and he was in a circular motion, taking something off the head, around the neck.
And could you see the child's face?
Yes.
And what observations did you make of the child's face?
The head was blue.
And did you later learn that child was Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
At that point, what did you do?
Because of the severity of Miss Clancy on the ground, and now we have another patient, I put a all call in, which is a recall of Duxbury personnel, all Duxbury personnel, if they're available, to come back to the town to help out for when I need help on the scene. And they also need help in the town to cover the town while I'm busy at this scene. And I also requested a mutual aid ambulance to respond to the scene.
Because at that time, there was only one ambulance that was responsible.
One ambulance for Miss Clancy, yes. And then I called another, seeing the next patient, I called another ambulance in.
Okay, and what is mutual aid?
Mutual aid is it's a shared system that all the towns use, that if we get busy or busy with calls, we're able to call help in from surrounding towns to give us a hand, whether it be fire related or medical related.
Does Duxbury only have one ambulance?
We have three.
But you only had one staff that night?
Yes.
Okay, so you call in for an additional ambulance. At some point in time, do you learn that there are two other patients,
Yes.
Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
At that point in time, do you have to do anything to call in more assistance?
Well, the recall for Duxbury personnel was already put in, so I called two more ambulances at that point.
And the scene that night, discovering another victim, was that a chaotic scene?
It turned very chaotic very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it a situation where people would start treating a patient, but then have to move on to something else and someone would take over?
Sort of. I had myself as a shift commander. I had an EMT with me, but there's also 4 paramedics. So the way it ended up working, all the initial paramedics were with Miss Clancy in the beginning. And then when we found the other patients, we left a paramedic with Miss Clancy, a paramedic with Dawson, and then 2 paramedics were with the 2 other kids in the other room.
And did someone eventually also have to be with Patrick Clancy?
Eventually, yes. Yeah, but at the time, there was nobody with him in the beginning.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. All right, counsel?
No questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Attorney Buckingham.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth would call Loring Nudd as its next witness, please.
Same objection for the record.
All right.
Stop right there, raise your right hand to the clerk, please.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you should give to the court and the jury and the matter coming between the Commonwealth and the defendant shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Watch your step there.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
May I inquire?
Yes, please, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
My first name is Loring, Loring. My last name is Nudd, Nudd.
And do you have a nickname that you go by?
I do.
What's that?
Everybody knows me as Chuck.
Chuck. Do you work, sir?
I do.
What do you do for work?
So I'm a firefighter EMT with the Duxbury Fire Department. I was at that time. I am now retired.
Okay, so when did you retire?
So I retired a year ago.
A year ago? And so how long had you been working with Duxbury Fire before your retirement?
A little over 30 years.
30. And can you explain what your role was as a Duxbury firefighter?
So if I was an EMT, which 80% of our calls are probably that related. So I would assist a paramedic, or I would drive the ambulance, or whatever was necessary at the time. And then we were also did fire suppression, and we were all trained in that and went to the academy and all that.
Okay, and can you tell us what the difference is between an EMT and a paramedic?
So a paramedic requires another year or two of training, and they're able to prescribe meds. I mean, not prescribe meds, excuse me. Give meds that they have according to what they need to do. They can also read the monitor that shows rhythms in the heart and what have you.
Is it fair to say that as an EMT, you're trained in basic life-saving techniques,
Correct.
while a paramedic is advanced life-saving techniques?
Correct.
And so at Duxbury Fire Department, is it also fair to say that each and every firefighter has that dual role of either being an EMT, a paramedic, and a firefighter?
Yes, some are. There might be one EMT, just a basic, where most of them are the medics but we're all firefighters too.
Okay. And in the town of Duxbury, does the town itself have its own ambulances
Yes.
in addition to the fire engines?
Yes.
And there's also ladder trucks, correct?
Correct.
Now, when you were working as a Duxbury firefighter, what was the schedule? How did you work your shifts?
So we work 24-hour shifts.
And then how many days on and how many days off?
So we'd have 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, and 5 off.
And a 24-hour shift, when did it start and end?
It was 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock the next morning.
So if I direct your attention to January 24th of 2023, you were still working for the Duxbury Fire Department then, correct?
Correct.
And were you on a 24-hour shift that day?
I was.
At some point during the day, were you given kind of what your assignment was for that shift?
Yes.
What was your assignment?
So that day, I mean, we all kind of float around a little bit, but we had a newer member that had made progress. He was an EMT and then made it to paramedic. So I was kind of what they called the backup guy. So I would do whatever fill-in needed to be done, and I would assist with them if necessary.
Okay, and so were you kind of assigned to the ambulance at the central station as that backup person?
I was.
And the person that you identified was kind of the newer employee. What was his name?
Paramedic Doherty,
And that would be Daniel Doherty.
Daniel Doherty, yeah.
And who was the other Duxbury firefighter that was assigned to the ambulance that
It
shift?
would have been paramedic Kevin Heath.
So at approximately 6 o'clock or just after 6 p.m., were you advised of a dispatch to a residence in the town of Duxbury?
Yes.
And where was that dispatch going to take you?
So it's going to take us to Summer Street.
And so you and firefighter Heath and firefighter Doherty, you all get in the ambulance.
Correct.
And do you go to 47 Summer Street?
We do.
Who was in the ambulance? Who was assigned as kind of the driver and the tech?
So at that time, because we had heard, what kind of call we had an idea of what call we were going to. The two medics sat up front and were able to converse while I sat in the back and again was that backup guy, more or less.
Okay. And as far as the nature of the call that you believed you were coming into, is it fair to say that the initial call had to deal with a female that had gone out the window, possibly a suicide?
Yeah, as I remember, it was a second floor fall.
At the time that you were dispatched to that location, did you know that there was any pediatric patients or children involved?
No.
Now, approximately how long did it take to get from the station, Central Station, to 47 Summer Street, if you recall?
I'm going to say 4 to 5 minutes.
And when you arrived on scene, were there already other emergency personnel on scene?
There were.
Were you the first ambulance on scene?
We were.
How about fire trucks? Were there any other fire trucks from Duxbury?
The fire truck, you could hear it in the background, but it wasn't there yet.
So is it fair to say that there were some Duxbury police cruisers that had arrived just ahead of you?
Correct.
Where did you go with the ambulance when you got to that address of 47 Summer Street?
So as we were pulling up, I could hear the two guys up front say, the cruisers are in the way of the driveway. So I said, okay, you guys take the call, meaning get out of the car and get out of the truck and get started, and I'll take care of the truck.
Okay. And so when you come to the address, are you able to at least pull into the driveway at some point?
Not at that point. Because I was in the back, I switched to the driver's seat. And at that time, I saw an officer coming and he was getting ready to move the vehicle that was in our way so that I could back in.
And so were you able to then back the ambulance into the driveway?
I was.
And were there other vehicles that were not emergency personnel vehicles in the driveway?
There might have been some of their vehicles, but there might have been, but I don't really. I had enough room to put my vehicle there, and that's all that mattered.
Okay, so when you backed the ambulance in, firefighter Heath and firefighter Doherty, what did they do?
They had already jumped out. Grabbed the gear, and taken off for the back of the house.
Once you got the ambulance secured in the driveway, what did you do?
So, assuming that they were going to need a stretcher, I started pulling a stretcher out of the back of the ambulance.
And again, you said you backed the ambulance in?
Correct.
As you were pulling the stretcher out of the back of the ambulance, did you observe somebody coming from the house?
Yes.
What did you see?
One of the police officers was carrying a child.
And so what did you do when you saw him carrying the child out of the house?
So at that point, the stretcher was almost out of the vehicle, and I said, over here, and he placed him on the stretcher.
Were you able to make observations of the child as he's being placed on the stretcher?
I was.
What did he look like?
So his face was blue. He had marks around his neck, and his body was pale.
And so once the officer, or first off, was the officer somebody you knew from Duxbury?
Correct. It was Officer Homestead.
Okay. And once the child was placed on the stretcher, what did you do after you made that initial observations of him?
So we rolled it right inside so he could start doing CPR.
Now, as an EMT, what is the first thing you generally do when you're observing a patient or assessing a patient?
So you always look for response and you go for airway.
Okay. And fair to say there's kind of what they call the ABCs.
Correct.
Can you tell the jurors what that means?
So it's airway, breathing, circulation.
Okay. And in this circumstance, were you able to observe the child breathing on his own?
No.
How about were you able to secure an airway for him?
Not at that time. We were still doing the preliminary.
And how about circulation or pulse or cardiac activity? Were you able to determine any of that upon your initial assessment of him?
At that point, no.
Now, after you are in the back of the ambulance, do other EMTs or other paramedics come and assist you with this child?
Yes. So when the patient was getting rolled in, I also yelled out to my captain, hoping that he was going to hear me, that I needed a medic in my truck, because I needed him to know that there was someone in my truck. Okay. And I'm assuming someone heard me, and they then directed a medic to my truck once one appeared.
Okay. And so the medic that came to the truck, was that Keith Nettie?
Yes.
And that was not the original person who went to the scene with you in the ambulance, was it?
Correct.
Okay. And what happened when you had the child in the back of the ambulance? What did you guys do to try to tend to him?
So we were doing CPR, and then there was he wanted to check the monitor, so we got the monitor out.
Okay. And with the monitor, what was the monitor supposed to be looking for?
Heart rhythm.
Okay. And so do you have to kind of hook that up to the patient in order to assess whether there's any activity?
Correct.
And those monitors that you have in your equipment, do they do anything more than just check for heart rate?
The paramedic can then look and see what kind of, not just a heart rate, but a rhythm. And then
if there is not a rhythm, does that machine help you to do anything to try to restart somebody's heart?
With a rhythm, with the rhythm that they gave us, they said we can disconnect it, because they were concerned they needed the monitor downstairs too, or elsewhere.
And is it fair to say that at that point you're assisting the paramedic with their assessment and running that equipment and checking the monitor?
No, I'll allow it, but let's kind of move on.
I'm sorry.
You want
That's okay.
to re-ask that?
Are you assisting the paramedic at that point to treat the child in the ambulance? At some point, do you leave the ambulance?
I do.
And where do you go after you leave the ambulance?
I bring the monitor down to the basement.
Are the other paramedics and the other responders still working on the child?
Correct.
And to be basement.
Because my cap, they said they needed equipment in the basement.
So when
There were.
were you to make observations of those children?
Not really. I mean, they weren't crying.
Okay. Fair to say they were being treated by others?
Correct.
And so once you dropped off that equipment, did you go back outside?
I did.
And what ultimately was your role at the end of this call? What were you asked to do?
I was asked to drive.
Okay. So the ambulance that responded from Duxbury, that's ambulance number 1?
Correct.
Or ambulance 1. Did you drive that ambulance to a hospital?
Correct.
Which hospital was that?
I forget if it was the Jordan or the BI now, but it's the Plymouth Hospital.
Here in Plymouth?
Correct.
And that was with Dawson Clancy in the back, correct?
Correct.
No further questions. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Attorney Reddington?
No questions. Enjoy your retirement.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Attorney Buckingham?
Thank you. The Commonwealth will call Keith Nettie as its next witness, please.
Same objection, Your Honor.
Good morning. Do solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury, no matter now between the Commonwealth Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Watch your step, please.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hi, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name, please?
First name is Keith. Last name is Nettie, N-E-T-T-E.
And where do you work, sir?
I work for the Duxbury Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Fire Department?
About 17 years.
And currently working for the Duxbury Fire Department, what is your role? What do you do there?
Right now, I'm a captain, shift commander.
And are you a firefighter as well as a trained paramedic?
Yes.
At Duxbury Fire, you all work 24-hour shifts?
Correct.
If I draw your attention to January 24th, 2023, do you recall working a 24-hour shift that day?
I was at home.
Okay. And so what was the shift that you were working that week, if you remember?
I believe I worked maybe 2 days prior. I don't really remember.
Okay. So you were on a day off?
Yes, correct.
And how was it that you ended up being involved in the call at 47 Summer Street on January 24th?
We were recalled from via a pager and text message that there was an incident going on and that we were to respond.
So can you explain to us how that works?
So a tone goes off through dispatch that sends off a pager at our houses that alerts us. Then we also get text messages about the incident and then respond either to the station or to the scene, whichever they request.
As a Duxbury firefighter, are part of your responsibilities to respond to these recalls?
Yes.
Is it a voluntary thing?
Yes.
So if you were indisposed or unavailable when a call went out or tone went out, would you be expected to respond to the scene?
No.
But in this case, on January 24th, just after 6 p.m., you heard that call go out, correct?
Correct.
And so then what did you do when you heard the call?
I drove to the scene in my personal truck.
When you got to the scene, what did you see?
I saw police and fire vehicles. And then I walked up the driveway and walked into the back of the ambulance.
Now, when you arrived and saw police, that was Duxbury Police?
Correct.
And the fire personnel that was on scene, who was on scene, if you remember?
I only saw 2 people on scene initially. That was Kevin Heath and Sergeant Homestead.
Okay. And Sergeant Homestead is a Duxbury officer?
Correct.
Now, was there a Duxbury ambulance in the driveway when you pulled up?
Yes.
And before even getting past that ambulance, were you asked to assist?
Yes.
What did you see when you came to the back of that ambulance?
I saw an officer, Sergeant Homestead, and Kevin Heath doing CPR on a child.
Had you seen how the child ended up in the ambulance, or did you come after?
I came after.
Did you then help take over with treating that child in the back of the ambulance?
Yes.
What was your initial observation of the patient? What did he look like?
Blue, white, non-responsive, not breathing, no pulse.
And this particular patient, did you come to learn him to be the child named Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
And he was approximately 3 years old?
Yes.
What kind of treatment did you and the paramedic Heath offer to Dawson in the back of the ambulance? What did you do?
We tried to start an IV, but then we also started an IO, which is kind of like an IV. Tried intubation, which is an advanced airway, medications, and continued CPR.
So an IV, that's just putting a needle into somebody and trying to pump fluids in medicine, correct?
Correct.
Tell us what an IO is.
An IO is interosseous, which is basically into the bone marrow on the lower leg.
So what do you do to try to enter an IO?
Usually we have a drill, but we had a manual one instead.
So what do you do with the manual drill to enter the IO?
You just twist and then it goes into the bone.
And what bone do you attempt to do this in? And were you able to enter that IO into Dawson?
Yes.
What is the purpose of the IO versus the IV?
If the patient has difficult access, which pediatrics do.
And in this circumstance, what kinds of medication were you trying to deliver through the IO to Dawson?
epinephrine.
What's the purpose of epinephrine?
Basically kind of helps to restart the heart.
And at this point, he had no heart activity.
Correct.
You also mentioned attempts to intubate. Can you tell us what that means?
So intubation is an advanced airway where you put a tube into the airway to secure it to deliver high flow oxygen.
Were you able to intubate Dawson?
Yes, Kevin Heath did.
And what do you do when you enter the tool to intubate?
You go into the mouth and you do a motion of pulling up to see the vocal cords so you can pass the tube through.
And what do you attach to the tube to try to increase breath?
Oxygen and BVM, which is basically you're squeezing a bag.
So BVM would stand for bag valve mask?
Correct.
While you were treating Dawson and doing the airway, intubating him, giving him the medicines, were you able to observe anything about the area of his neck?
Yes.
What did you observe about his neck?
Dark red marks around his neck.
Now, all of this is happening while you were in the back of the ambulance with firefighter Heath, correct?
Correct.
And do you recall another Duxbury officer being present, Dan Doherty?
Yes.
Eventually, was that ambulance then sent to the local hospital?
Yes.
Which hospital did you guys go to?
BI Plymouth.
On the ride to the hospital, did you ever get a pulse for Dawson?
No.
Were you ever able to resume breathing using that method with the bag valve mask?
No.
The efforts to give him the medication, the epinephrine, did it ever do anything to start his heart?
No.
When you arrived at the Beth Israel Hospital emergency department, tell us how you transferred the care of the patient.
We wheeled the stretcher in. We went into the first room, which is trauma 1 and trauma 2. We moved the patient over to their bed and then transferred care.
While you were at the emergency department at Beth Israel, did you see another child from that same home come in?
I did.
And what department brought them in? What fire department?
Marshfield.
Did you do anything to assist Marshfield when they came through the emergency department?
I assisted in compressions when they were getting the child out of the ambulance.
And is that something that is ongoing during when you're trying to transfer care to the emergency staff?
Yes.
Being the father of the children at the emergency department that evening when you were there?
I did.
And you came to Patrick Clancy?
Correct. And yeah, just basically visually upset.
Did you do anything yourself to assist him when he was there?
I assisted to get a chair in case he needed to sit down.
And was that before or after the children had been declared?
I believe it was after.
Thank you.
All right. Attorney Reddington?
I have no questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Thank you.
The Commonwealth would call Patrick Dwyer as its next witness.
Same objection for the record.
Okay. All right, good morning, sir.
Morning.
All right. Yes, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Could you please tell the jury your first and last name?
Patrick Dwyer,
Can you please spell your last name for the record?
DWYER.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a firefighter paramedic at the Duxbury Fire Department.
And in what capacity are you a firefighter or paramedic? Do you have any supervisory roles?
No, I'm not a supervisor at the department.
Now, in your role as a firefighter and a paramedic, did you receive training for those roles?
Yes.
And how long have you worked for the Duxbury Fire Department?
It's in my 8th year right now.
I'm going to draw your attention to January 24th of 2023. Do you recall working that day?
Yes.
Were you on a 24-hour shift?
Yes.
And so that would be an 8 a.m. to 8 a.m., correct?
Correct.
At approximately 6 o'clock or just after 6 p.m., were you dispatched to 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
What was your assignment that day on shift?
I was working on the engine out of our Station 2
Where is Station 2 located in the town of Duxbury?
on Franklin Street.
When the dispatch came into 47 Summer Street, do you know approximately how long it took you to get from Station 2 to the location?
A few minutes.
Who was working with you at Station 2 that day?
Jennifer Stratton.
What were each of your designated roles?
I believe Jen was driving the engine, and I was in the officer's seat.
Now, at Station 2 in Duxbury, is it normal for just two of you to be on shift at that station at any given time?
Yes, correct.
And fair to say there are other firefighters and paramedics that are on staff at the central station, correct?
Correct.
And in this dispatch, you at Station 2 on the engine were dispatched to 47 Summer Street, correct?
That's correct.
When you received the dispatch, did you have any information that there had been children involved?
No, we did not.
When you got to the scene, what did you see?
When we got there, it was dark out. We started walking towards the house, and the other firefighters were there before us. Then we were directed to go to the basement.
Before going to the basement, were you directed towards the outside of the house and then redirected to the basement?
We were walking towards the backyard, so I believe that's where the first person was located. So we were kind of making our way back there.
So I'm just going to show you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 34. Can you see it on the screen next to you?
Yes.
And so would this be 47 Summer Street?
Yes.
And fair to say you were on your way to the backyard on the left side when you were redirected?
Yes.
Did you ever make it into the backyard?
We went through the backyard to go into the residence.
But you were directed to the basement to testify?
Yes.
If you could take a look at that screen again, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit 38. Can you see over here sliding glass doors?
Yes.
Is that where you entered the house?
Yes.
You indicated that you also went to the basement, correct?
Correct.
When you got into the house and went down into the basement, which side did you go to at the bottom of the stairs, the right or the left?
We went down to the left.
What did you observe when you went down into the basement?
We saw two children on the ground and the father sitting on the couch next to them.
So again, just going to show you, it's been previously marked as exhibit 95. Is that fair to be the left side?
Yes.
Basement. And exhibit 96. Where did you see the father?
He was sitting on a couch or something in the area. Not sure exactly which one.
Did you also observe the children on the floor?
Yes.
How many children?
2.
What did you do when you observed the children?
We started CPR. They were in cardiac arrest.
Okay, and so which child did you work on?
The 5-year-old girl.
Okay. Where was she located?
On the floor in that room.
So as far as looking at exhibit number 96, does that depict the general area where you saw the 5-year-old child?
Yes.
Where did you treat her? Where did you see her?
Right in that area. I can't remember exactly where it was.
Okay. In this photograph of exhibit number 96, do you see a lot of equipment?
Yes.
And I'm just going to show you exhibit 101 too, with some more equipment. Do you see all that equipment there?
Yes.
Is that equipment that was used to treat the 5-year-old child?
Yes.
Did you learn her name to later be Cora Clancy?
Yes.
While you were assisting or working with Cora, what was Jen Stratton doing, your partner?
She was with the other child.
Do you recall where the other child was in relation to Cora?
They're kind of right next to each other.
So again, showing you exhibit number 96, if you look to the middle of the photograph, there's a red spot on the floor. Is that a fair place where Cora was?
Yes.
And would the other child, the younger infant, was he closer to the couch or the bed area, or was he in a different location in the basement?
Probably more towards this side, I would say, if I can remember.
When you say this side,
Like,
what do you see in the picture to depict where?
probably closer to the cardiac monitor.
Okay, and can you tell us which is the cardiac monitor? Is it here at the bottom?
Yes, that piece of equipment right there.
And again, in exhibit 101, can you see the cardiac monitor a little better?
Yes.
Where is it in this photograph?
Right there.
Do you mind just getting up and pointing to it on the screen? So we're talking about this black bag that is sort of off center of the photograph next to a blue bag. Is that fair? Is that?
Sorry, what was the question?
I'm just trying to locate it on the picture for the record. So you pointed to a black bag that's kind of off center in this photograph, correct?
This is a cardiac monitor.
Okay, thank you. When you started to treat Cora, what were your observations of her when you came upon her?
I noticed she kind of looked like she had some burst blood vessels around her eyes.
Did you make any observations of the color of her skin?
It was kind of pale, bluish.
When you approach the patient, what's the first thing that you do to assess them?
I check for breathing, check for a pulse.
Did she have a pulse?
No,
Was she breathing?
no.
And when you're doing those things, are you able to make observations of the area around their face, like their nose and their mouth?
Yes.
In this circumstance with Cora, did you notice anything around her mouth?
Around her mouth? Not that I can recall.
When you are trying to assess her breathing, is there anything you do to try to resuscitate somebody or get them to breathe?
Yes, we would use a bag valve mask to help them breathe.
Did you do that for Cora?
Eventually, when we got the equipment down there, yes.
And were you able to use that device and get her to breathe on her own?
No.
And while you're utilizing that bag valve mask, fair to say you're in close contact and making observations of the patient's face and mouth, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that you're not sure if you recalled seeing anything around her mouth?
Nothing particularly that I can think of.
Okay, if I may approach.
Yeah.
Just going to show you page 9, and if you can read that 17 through 19 to yourself. Does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
What did you observe in or around Cora's mouth?
That she did have some blood in her mouth.
Did eventually other emergency staff come down and help you with rendering aid on Cora?
Yes.
And fair to say, one of the things that you do is maintain compressions and CPR.
Yes.
And can you do that by yourself, or do you often have to have somebody help?
Oh, we usually have multiple people working.
And in this circumstance, with the treatment of Cora, other people came in and helped you with those things?
Yes.
Were you eventually able to prepare her to leave the basement area?
Yes, once we get more first responders down there.
And fair to say there was first responders from other departments that came and helped prepare to bring Cora out of the basement, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall how she left the basement?
We took her out of the basement on a backboard up the bulkhead stairs.
And the firefighters that were assisting putting her on the backboard, do you remember where they were from, what town?
Marshfield.
When Cora was placed into an ambulance, do you remember what ambulance she was placed into?
Marshfield ambulance.
Did you continue to help assist them when she was put in the ambulance?
Yes, I went to the hospital with them.
And do you remember who the firefighters were that were from Marshfield that were helping you?
Yes, Andrew Wilkins, Ryan Henry, and Kerry Carver.
And fair to say Andrew and Ryan were in the back of the ambulance with you, correct?
Yes.
And Kerry was driving?
I believe she was in the back also.
Okay. At some point, somebody hopped in the front seat and drove?
Yes.
And when you got to the hospital, which hospital did you transport to?
Beth Israel, Plymouth.
Were efforts continued to be made in that transport from Duxbury to Beth Israel in Plymouth?
Yes.
While inside of the ambulance, did you try to use one of those cardiac machines to shock or defibrillate Cora?
Yes.
Was there any result for that?
We shocked once, but did not regain pulses.
And when you got to the hospital, did you transfer care to the emergency staff at Beth Israel?
Yes.
And did you do anything further on the care and treatment of Cora?
Not once we transferred care, no.
Anything further?
Mr. Reddington?
I have no questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Thank you.
Thanks.
Attorney Sprague?
Commonwealth calls Jennifer Stratton.
Same objection, Your Honor.
Why don't you stop right there, please?
Hey, good morning. Hi. I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up so the jury can hear you, okay? Okay. Great, thank you. Yeah, Attorney Sprague.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, Jennifer Stratton, JenniferStratton,
And your date of birth?
July 11th, 1986.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department,
And how long have you been a Duxbury firefighter?
12 years.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes,
And how long have you been a paramedic?
about 13.
And have you completed all the training and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th. 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
And were you working a 24-hour shift that started at 8 a.m.?
Yes.
And were you part of a crew that was dispatched to 47 Summer Street just after 6 p.m.?
Yes.
And who was with you in that crew?
Firefighter Patrick Dwyer was with me in the engine that night.
And approximately how long did it take you to get from the station you were located at to 47 Summer Street?
Maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
And were you driving?
I was driving that night.
What did you see when you arrived?
Pulled up to the address, saw our ambulance crew. They had arrived just before we did. They were starting to walk to the back of the house.
And did you follow?
Yes.
And what did you see in the backyard?
Came to the backyard, saw firefighter Dan Doherty kneeling next to a person. It was very dark. Ended up being Miss Clancy. That was all we saw for a few seconds.
And at that point, did you hear something?
We did, heard a voice yelling for us to get inside of the house, that there was a kid hanging in the basement.
And did you go into the house?
We did.
And what entrance did you go in?
Through the slider doors in the rear.
And did that lead you into the kitchen?
Yes.
And then did you proceed to the basement?
Yes.
When you got down to the basement, down the basement stairs, would it be accurate to state that you can either go right or left?
Yes.
Which direction did you go?
We took a left.
And what did you see when you went left?
We took a left and we saw Callan and Cora face up on the ground.
And when you saw them, what did you do?
I immediately jumped on the radio to ask for 2 additional ambulances, that we needed more help. And Patrick ran to Cora and I went to Callan.
And showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 100. Is this the room that you entered?
Yes.
And where was Cora, to your memory?
Cora was just to the left in this picture, and Callan was just to the right.
And when you say just to the left, are you putting over towards the equipment against the wall in the picture?
Yes.
And when you say to the right, are you pointing to the area to the right of the dresser?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 98. Is that the area where Callan was found?
Yes.
And close up, Exhibit 99. You see the pajamas there, the stethoscope, and the blue exercise band?
Yes.
Do you recall removing Callan's pajamas to treat him?
I did, yes.
So when you went over to Callan, you remove his clothing. What do you do after that?
I didn't remove his entire onesie right away. Made sure that checked him for a pulse. He did not have one. Immediately started chest compressions on him.
Now, for this is an 8-month-old baby,
Yes.
correct? Is the way you do chest compressions for a baby different than other people, other ages?
Yes, because of the size, you have to scoop your arms around and you compress with your thumbs and
I'll allow it.
So you said you have to put your hands underneath on the back of the child and then use your thumbs to do compressions?
Yes.
And is that what you did for Callan?
Yes.
And what did you do next?
Continued CPR on him until more help and hands started to arrive on scene. We had an off-duty firefighter, Tom Brandt, come in, and he started to assist me. He took over compressions briefly while more help started to arrive.
When Brandt took over chest compressions, what did you do?
At that point, someone had brought down a bag valve mask to help us deliver oxygen to the child, and we started delivering oxygen to the child.
And at some point, did you remove the pajamas completely? Yes. And when you removed the pajamas completely, was that so someone could attempt to get IO access through the baby's legs? And was that successful?
That was not successful, no.
Is that difficult to do with a child that age?
It's a little more difficult. It's a less frequent practice skill, but.
Were multiple attempts made to get the IV and access into the bone in Callan's leg?
I attempted once and another provider attempted a second time. I don't remember who that was.
And neither attempt was successful? What did you do next? Oh, what was your answer?
For which
I'm sorry. Was either attempt successful?
No.
What did you do next?
Eventually, Kingston Fire arrived on scene to provide the ambulance for transport for Callan. I don't know how long we were in the basement for, but we did make the decision eventually it was time to get moving to the truck and start going to the hospital.
While you were working on Callan, did you notice any injuries on him?
Yes, he had deep strangulation marks around the entire circumference of his neck.
And throughout the entire time that you're in the basement, are chest compressions being done, and you're trying to assist him with breathing?
Yes.
Did he, in the home, ever regain a pulse or the ability to breathe?
No, he did not.
Was he eventually taken to the ambulance?
Yes.
And how was he removed from the basement and brought to the ambulance?
I scooped him up in my arms and carried him outside to the truck.
And did you go with him in that transport to the hospital?
Yes.
And at any point in time, did he regain the ability to breathe or heartbeat during that transport?
No, he did not.
Was care transferred to medical staff at Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth?
Yes, they were.
Nothing further, thank you.
Mr. Reddington? You may step down. Thank you. Thank you.
Commonwealth calls Robert Costanzo.
We approach the side bar, please.
Sure, yeah.
Morning, do you solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you give to the
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning.
If I may?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's Robert Costanzo, Costanzo,
And your date of birth, please.
4/24/1985.
Where do you work?
Pembroke Fire Department.
And how long have you been a Pembroke firefighter?
I've been there since 2011.
And are you also a paramedic?
I am.
How long have you been a paramedic?
I've been with Pembroke since 2011, and I started in EMS in 2006.
And have you done all the training and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
And were you working an overtime shift that day?
Yes.
What was your role on that shift?
I was assigned to the ambulance.
And at some point after 6 p.m. that day, was there a call put out by Duxbury Fire Department for mutual aid?
Yes.
And being members of the Pembroke Fire Department, did you respond to that request for mutual aid?
Yes, we did.
Who responded?
It was me and my partner,
Who was your partner?
Dan Smith.
And did you go in an ambulance or some type of engine?
An ambulance.
And did you respond to the area of 47 Summer Street?
Yes, we did.
And approximately how long did it take you to get there?
Between 5 and 8 minutes.
When you arrived, what did you see?
There were multiple pieces of equipment, other ambulances, police cars.
When you arrived, were you directed to the backyard?
Yes.
And did you see a patient there in the backyard?
Yes, we did.
And where was she located?
She was on the ground with a Duxbury firefighter. She was already C-spined on a long board with a collar. She was unresponsive, but breathing on the ground.
And did you learn her name was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And when you say she was already on a board with a C-spine, what type of equipment are we talking about? And if you could just explain to the jurors.
So it's just a long flat board that we use to secure people when there's possible spinal injury. And she already had the collar on her neck. They had already started treatment prior to our arrival. So they had her all secured to the long backboard with the collar applied.
And did you notice anything about her wrists at that time?
Yes, her wrists were bandaged previously, assuming some kind of injury. There was no active bleeding or anything through the bandage. It was just, but her wrists were bandaged.
Was it white bandaging?
Yes.
And so nothing was seeping through to your eye? Did you see anything on her neck area?
She had some superficial lacerations that we could see around the collar, but we don't typically remove equipment after it's already been placed. So I didn't investigate any further than that. There was no active bleeding that I could see, so we just left it alone.
So there was, even with the collar, there was nothing, no blood flowing out of the collar or pooling around her or anything like that?
Correct.
Was she breathing?
She was.
Was she responsive?
No.
Was she making any noise at all?
She was moaning and groaning, but no words, no verbal response.
Did you bring her to your ambulance?
Yes, we did.
And when you got to the ambulance, what was your role?
I was the tech in charge, so we did as much of an assessment as we could without removing her from the board to look for any further injuries. Other than the injuries that the Duxbury Fire Department had already found, we didn't find any further injuries. And then we continued with treatment, vital signs and such.
When you did the assessment, did you look at her head?
Yes.
Were there any cuts or bumps or dents that you noticed in her head?
Not that we noticed, no.
What about her arms other than the bandaging on her wrists? Were there any cuts, obvious broken bones or injuries to her arms or her hands?
No obvious broken bones or anything, no.
And you said you were the tech. What does that mean?
I was the medic that was in charge. It's one or the other. You're either assisting the medic that's in charge or you're the medic in charge. Okay. So I was the medic in charge.
And was anyone else in the back of the ambulance with you treating Ms. Clancy?
Yes, my partner, Dan Smith.
Who was driving the ambulance, if you recall?
It was our deputy chief, Jim Shea.
And do you recall which hospital you went to?
South Shore Hospital.
While you're, well, let me ask you, how long approximately did it take you to get from 47 Summer Street in Duxbury to South Shore Hospital?
It's typically about, from Pembroke, it would be about 15 minutes, so it would be a little bit longer than that. I'm not sure the exact time, so probably maybe 18 minutes.
Okay. And while you're in that transport, in the back of the ambulance, after you've done this examination of Lindsay Clancy to see if there are any other injuries, what do you do next?
So we would start treatment. So we started putting 2 IVs as a precaution, and any other treatment that was needed. So we noticed that her pupils were constricted, and she was unresponsive. So we treated for a potential opioid overdose. We gave 2 milligrams of Narcan, and she seemed to become a little bit more agitated, trying to grab, reaching out with her arms, but no verbal communication. She never fully woke up.
And have you given Narcan to individuals in the past in your role as a paramedic?
Yes, I have.
What is the typical reaction when you give a patient Narcan?
It depends on the drug that they took or the amount of drugs that they took, but depending on what they take, their respirations will go up, their pupils will get a little bigger, sometimes they fully wake up.
We know who they are, who's referred to.
The patient.
Yeah.
And you were referring to patients that you've dealt with in the past in your role as a paramedic, is
That's
that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so they would often wake up when given Narcan?
Yes.
And what type of drugs, based on your training experience, does Narcan work on?
We're trained to use it for opioid overdoses, so heroin, fentanyl, other drugs like that.
Okay. And does Narcan typically work on benzodiazepine?
We are not trained to use it for anything other than opioids.
Okay. And when you gave Lindsay Clancy the Narcan, she did not wake up, correct?
No.
Did you provide any other care to Lindsay Clancy on the way to the hospital?
Just continued to monitor her vitals and make sure there was no decline.
And once you arrived at the hospital, did you transfer her care to the hospital staff?
Yes, we did.
No other questions?
All right. So you're not trained in Narcan on benzodiazepines, is that correct?
Yeah, we don't give it for benzodiazepines.
And in any event, when you gave Narcan to the body that was laying on the ground, and she had already been wrapped up on her wrist, right?
That's correct.
Already been wrapped up, had the thing on the neck to prevent the head from moving, right?
That's correct.
And also had bandages perhaps on her neck area, I'm not sure.
There were no bandages that I could see because
Just
the
the neck
collar
thing.
blocks. Yeah, most of it I could see. There are some holes in the collar that we could see some superficial lacerations through,
Right.
but there was no active bleeding. Her wrists were already bandaged, so we don't take the bandages off after they're on. And
Okay,
there was no blood
good.
screws.
I ask the questions, you can answer them, okay? Narcan administered to Lindsay Clancy on the ground, yes?
In the ambulance, but yes.
And there was no reaction. It didn't have any effect on her, right?
She appeared to become a little bit more, she started reaching and grabbing a little bit more than she was before.
That's consistent as well with a person who's had a head injury, right?
Could be.
Yeah. So in any event, the Narcan that you're trained would be dealing with opioids, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, did you know, sir, at all that she suffered a burst fracture of a cervical spine? Did you know that, sir?
No.
T5 through T6, T4, 6, 7, 8, all exploded, fractured. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that there was hemorrhaging into her body, that she fractured every rib in her body?
No.
It was pretty dark out there, wasn't it?
It was.
Did you obviously administer aid to her, or did you also have a flashlight on your head, or were you holding a flashlight, or what?
She was already packaged. She was already on the longboard and everything. So we picked her up, put her on the stretcher, and moved out of the backyard into the
All right,
ambulance.
so how long did you handle, if you will, her while she was laying there?
On scene, we were only on scene for, I think it was 7 minutes, I think, total on scene from the time that we.
Chaotic?
Yes.
And it was dark in the backyard, right?
Yes.
There was no exterior lighting, nothing on the house that was lit up like spotlights or anything, right?
That's correct.
No flashlights, right?
No.
And you scrutinized a hole in the thing that goes around the neck when someone has a head injury, especially a cervical injury, thoracic injuries. You scrutinized the hole and noted that there was a superficial wound to her neck?
That's all we could see through the side of the collar.
Who's we?
Me and my partner.
Was your partner scrutinizing the hole as well?
The whole, I don't know.
You said there's a hole in that, and the thing that goes around the neck.
Yeah, there's holes in the collar that you can see through.
Right, and you were scrutinizing. You were looking through it, right?
Yeah.
You told the jury you saw
Yes.
superficial cut of the neck, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did your partner look through the hole as well? And you've talked about your testimony with the district attorneys in the past, haven't you?
Yes.
One of the things that they asked you is whether or not it appeared as though the injuries to her neck or wrist were superficial. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And other than looking through the little hole in the thing around her neck in the dark, you didn't see her neck after that was removed, did you?
No.
That's all I have.
Commonwealth redirect?
Sir, after the 7 minutes that you were in the dark backyard, you were then in an ambulance for 18 minutes with the patient, correct?
That's correct.
And there's lighting in the ambulance, correct?
There is.
And during those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood seeping through the bandages on her wrists?
No.
During those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood pooling around her neck or flowing from the neck?
No.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You may sit down. Thank you.
Commonwealth calls Daniel Doherty.
Same objection.
You testify.
Come on, sir. Stop right there. Raise your right hand.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you shall give to the court and that you're going to rather not having between the Commonwealth and the defendant shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else? Thank you. You may have a seat, sir.
Watch yourself, please.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Daniel Doherty, Dougherty,
And your date of birth?
8/27/1986.
Where do you work?
Duxbury Fire Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Fire Department?
5.5 years, full time.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
4 years.
And have you completed all the training and education and certification required to be a paramedic?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
I was.
And were you working a 24-hour shift?
Yes.
What was your role that day on shift?
Firefighter, paramedic.
And sometime after 6 p.m., did you respond to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes.
And when you responded, who was with you?
Firefighter Heath was driving and firefighter Nudd was in the back.
And so you're in ambulance 1 at that time?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And when you arrive at 47 Summer Street, what do you see?
There's 2 police cruisers either blocking the driveway or near it. So we pulled ahead of it, stopped the truck and got out.
And did you head to get equipment and head to the backyard?
Yes.
And what did you see in the backyard?
We had Officer Hall kind of directing us towards the side of to the side gate. And from there, we went around to the back of the house.
And did you see a female on the ground?
We did.
And did you learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
Do you recall what she was wearing?
I believe it was jeans and a tank top.
Did she also have socks on?
I believe so.
And did you examine her or assess her once you reached her?
Yes.
And what, if any, injuries did you observe?
She had lacerations to both wrists as well as her neck.
And were those lacerations actively bleeding?
No.
Can you describe the lacerations that you saw on her neck?
There was dried blood, seemed to be somewhat superficial since there was no active bleed.
And what about the cuts on her wrists?
Same.
And When you say same, are you saying that there was no active bleeding there?
Correct.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do to treat those wounds?
We bandaged them up. I believe we placed a ABD pad, just a sterile pad on her neck as well.
An APD or a sterile pad, is that just a type of like gauze or something that you put on the wound?
Yes.
Okay. And so you did that and then you bandaged the wrists, or vice versa?
It was the wrist first, I believe, but we did secure the airway first before bandaging her wrist.
Okay. So when you first arrived, is she breathing on her own?
She was.
Was she responsive?
Somewhat.
And what does that mean?
Not totally responsive. Pretty much the painful stimuli.
And what is painful stimuli?
As we were moving her, she somewhat regained consciousness on us.
And painful stimuli, is that when someone reacts physically or verbally to pain?
Yes.
And so you said that you assess her when you first get there. You said you did the airway first, is that right?
Yes.
And how did you go about doing that?
We placed an OPA device to secure her tongue down, just to protect her airway.
What's an OPA device?
It's a plastic device that depresses the tongue just to keep the airway open.
Okay, so it's not the tube that goes down?
No.
It's just something that holds the tongue down?
That's correct.
Okay. And after you did that, what was the next step?
We placed a non-rebreather air mask on her and set the oxygen.
So is that just a mask that goes on the face providing oxygen?
Yes.
And then what did you do next?
From there, that's when we heard the scream.
And so did you bandage the neck and the wrist before the breathing, securing the breathing, or after?
That was after.
Okay, so just to be clear, first is securing the tongue down, putting the oxygen mask on, and then you did the bandaging?
That came later, yes.
Later, okay. So was the bandaging before or after you heard the screams?
That was after.
Okay. So when you hear the screaming, what, if anything, do you do?
I looked at Captain Hussey and Firefighter Heath, and we kind of all looked at each other, trying to figure out what was going on.
Okay. And did any of you leave the area after hearing the screaming?
Captain Hussey did. Firefighter Heath went to go get a backboard for the patient.
Okay. And did you stay with Lindsay Clancy?
I did.
Okay. And then is it at that point that you do the bandaging, or after you get the backboard?
Kevin was gone for a while, so that's when I started bandaging up her wrists.
Okay. And did he eventually return with the backboard?
He did not.
So you bandage the wrists. What happens next?
I believe it was Officer Hall came to the backyard. He asked if I needed anything. I told him board, kind of gave him a direction of where in the truck it was. And then he also left to go grab that for me.
And when you say the board, are you referring to the backboard?
Yes.
And did he return with the backboard?
Yes.
And was Ms. Clancy loaded onto the backboard?
She was.
And who assisted you with that?
It was Officer Hall, I believe, and our retired deputy.
And is there a process that you follow when placing someone onto a board to ensure that that you don't cause further damage?
Yes.
And what is that process?
Just C-spine precautions. So you secure the neck and kind of make sure that it's immobilized as you kind of move the patient.
So what did you do to secure her neck?
We had someone at her neck. I don't remember who it was. Just kind of hold steady that her neck didn't move in the process.
Okay. And then did you follow that protocol, the C-spine protocol, to safely put her onto the backboard?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point was a collar placed around her neck?
I believe so, yes.
And then what happened next?
I believe I got on the radio and asked our captain who was transporting first, because we knew that there was multiple patients at that point.
Okay. And what were you told?
Pembroke was on its way in. They may have just arrived, and she was going with Pembroke.
Okay. And were you part of the team that transported her from the backyard to the Pembroke ambulance?
Yes.
And did you help load her into the Pembroke ambulance?
Yes.
And did you go with them during that transport?
I did not.
After Ms. Clancy was loaded into the ambulance, did it leave?
Yes.
What did you do next?
I went to our ambulance that was in the driveway at that point.
Okay. And was Dawson Clancy in that ambulance?
He was.
And did you ride in the ambulance to the hospital with Dawson Clancy?
I did.
What was your role in that ambulance?
I was operating the bag valve mask for him.
So you're trying to provide oxygen to him through the bag valve mask? Okay. And was his care then transferred to Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth medical staff?
Yes.
And nothing further?
All right. Attorney Reddington?
Tell me again, you an EMT, a paramedic, or?
Paramedic.
Paramedic?
Mm-hmm.
And how long do you study for that?
2 years plus.
Would that be full-time studying, or are you working at the same
I
time?
was working at the
Okay.
same time.
Do you know on that evening what the temperature was outside?
It was cold.
Wicked cold, wasn't it?
Mid-30s.
It was lower than that, wasn't it?
I couldn't. I was a
It
couple.
was really cold.
Yeah.
And how long was she laying in the snow and on the ground?
We got the call at 6-ish or whatever time it was. We
And the call
responded.
came because her husband came home from picking up food and found her on the ground, right?
Correct.
So you don't know how long she was laying in the snow on the ground, right?
No.
In the cold?
Correct.
And what's hemostasis? Do you know?
What's that?
What's hemostasis? What does that mean?
Just the coagulation.
And you know what the effect of hypothermia? Let me ask you, what's hypothermia?
It's just the body under temperature of the body.
Under temperature of the body?
Or your body is not at temperature that it should be.
Right, because of the environment, right? Cold, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it can be medically induced, right?
Mhm.
Hypothermia affects the blood flow, doesn't it?
Yes.
In fact, you actually have a thing called therapeutic hypothermia, right?
Mhm.
Like if they have to restrict the blood flow to either a heart or a brain or something, that a person can be induced medically to be cold.
Yes.
And it would restrict blood flow, right?
Mhm.
So all these questions about whether or not there's blood seeping through the wrist bandages and whether or not there's blood through the holes on the neck brace, you don't know what effect the hypothermia, if any, had on that, would you?
No.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Redirect?
Sir, there's typically heat in a hospital, correct?
Usually, yes.
And were you aware that, Ms. Clancy went to South Shore Hospital, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that the wounds on her wrist did not have to be sutured until the following day?
I didn't get any of that information after.
Were you aware that the wound on her neck never had to be sutured?
Same answer.
Thank you.
Anything further? Thank you, sir. You can step down. Thank you.
Commonwealth calls Vincent Cahill.
Sir. You may testify.
Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning, all right.
Sure.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Vincent Cahill, to be Vincent. Last name Cahill, that'll be Cahill.
And your date of birth, please.
11/11/1996.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Police Department?
About 5.5 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you on patrol?
Yes.
And directing your attention further to approximately 6:11 p.m., were you dispatched to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you arrived there, well, how long did it take you to get there approximately?
A couple minutes.
And when you arrived there, what did you see?
When I arrived there, I saw a cruiser in the driveway, as well as an ambulance and a fire captain.
And did you head to the backyard?
Yes.
And did you see a woman on the ground there being cared for?
Yes.
And did you later learn that was Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
At some point, do you hear or did you hear loud screaming?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did you go inside the home?
Yes.
And did you go to the basement area?
Yes.
And when you went down the basement stairs, did you go to the right or the left?
I initially went to the right, and I was following the father.
So as you're going down the stairs, you say the father, is that Patrick Clancy?
Yes.
Do you see him as you're going down the basement stairs?
Yes.
And where is he coming from and where is he going to?
It's coming from my left, heading to my right.
And what is his demeanor?
He was screaming.
And as you came down the stairs, did he point in a direction?
Yes.
Where did he point to?
To the left side.
And is that where you headed?
Yes.
And when you went to the left, did you see two children on the floor in that area of the basement?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I checked the pulse of the 5-year-old girl and passed that information along. And then when fire came on scene, I then was backing away because fire was going to start taking care of the 5-year-old girl. I then backed into the infant who was on the ground.
So you said that you checked the 5-year-old. Was that Cora Clancy?
Yes.
You checked her for a pulse. Did she have a pulse?
No.
And you said fire came down and started taking over. Was that firefighters from Duxbury Fire Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said you started backing up. Is that when you bumped into Callan Clancy?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point in time, what did you do next?
I checked Callan's pulse.
And did he have a pulse?
No.
Did firefighters take over care of Callan?
Yes.
At that point, did you do something to make it easier for the people to fit in the room and treat the children?
Yes. I moved a large futon or ottoman, piece of furniture.
And I'm showing you Exhibit 96. Directing your attention to the couch bed and the ottoman on top of it. Were you the one that placed that ottoman on top of the couch bed?
Yes, ma'am.
After that, were you asked to help get some equipment for the children?
Yes.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And did you bring the equipment to the basement?
Yes.
And after that, did you assist with getting Cora to the ambulance?
I assisted with rescue breaths with Cora as well as CPR. I aided with Officer Josephine.
And how were you doing the rescue breaths and the CPR?
I was using a bag valve mask. Myself and Officer Josephine were timing it every couple seconds. It was 15 seconds. I was doing rescue breaths on Cora.
Okay. And at some point, she's taken out of the basement into an ambulance, correct?
Yes.
Did you assist with that?
I don't recall.
And at any point, did she regain a pulse or ability to breathe while you were helping to assist her? At some point in time, were you given the task of monitoring who came into the scene and who left the scene
Yes.
Throughout the night?
Yes.
And showing you what's entitled Crime Scene Entry and Exit Log. Is this the form that you were in charge of? Just documenting every time someone came to the scene or left the scene.
Yes, ma'am.
If I could have this marked as the next exhibit, please.
Any objection?
No.
All right, that may be admitted.
Is it 109? I have nothing further, thank you.
Counsel?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. Lisa.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if we may approach side by.
Sure. All right, members of the jury, talking to counsel, there's a couple of issues that we have to kind of hammer out and get done. And rather than have you wait around, I'm not quite sure how long that's going to go, I'm going to excuse you for the day. All right? As I told you, sometimes the schedules don't always match up what I tell you they're going to do even a couple hours before. So I'm going to excuse you until tomorrow morning. All right, and so tomorrow morning, the plan is that we're going to go on this view. And I'll explain it a little bit more in detail tomorrow, but just so you can kind of picture it in your head, I'm going to ask you to be here, to be ready to come out here at 9 o'clock. I'm going to address you, probably ask those same questions. Then I'll give you a little bit of information about the view. I'll give you an instruction. What the view is, we're going to go to a couple of areas. You're going to be able to get out and look at these areas. The lawyers will be there. They'll be able to point out what they feel is significant. And at that point, we'll then come back. We'll consider continue with some of the testimony. We may end up a little bit early tomorrow as well in regards to the schedule. And at that point, I'm going to talk to counsel, kind of see where we are in regards to the overall schedule. But it's my impression that we are ahead of schedule at this point. So I just kind of wanted to let you know that. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow morning rather than have you sit here and just kind of wait in regards to that. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow. I'd ask you to be here at 9, check the weather, but you'll be on the view in the morning, and then there'll be some witnesses in the afternoon. All right, so remember, I'm going to ask you those questions. Don't read anything. Don't talk about it. Don't do any research. Don't take any field trips. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay? Thank you.
Court, all rise. Jurors, close your notebooks, raise them on the chairs, please. Follow me.
Jurors have exited the court. This court's in session.
All right. So we'll be in recess until tomorrow. The court, the media, the court had issued previously a specific order regarding the view. There's a supplemental order issued this morning. So everybody should just be aware of that. And I want to thank everybody for the consideration, and we'll be in recess until tomorrow morning.
Court, all rise.
Okay, folks, can we clear the courtroom, please?
All righty. Well, another short day. Again, I think it's really wise on the part of the judge that he's taking this slowly for the jury. It is so much to take in. They need a lot of breaks in order for them to stay objective. And also because, unfortunately, just like these first responders, this is an incredibly traumatizing event to witness. And every trial I've ever covered, when you have to hear the stories of the first responders, I feel so brokenhearted for them. I worked as a domestic violence advocate where I literally was a first responder. I went out on scene with the police in domestic violence and sexual assault cases here in Southeast Idaho when I was right out of college. And you don't know until you've walked into one of those things what it can do to you and what it does to your brain to witness stuff like this. It is incredibly traumatizing. And I hope, and I also know it's likely not the case, that these first responders definitely, don't get the amount of treatment and therapy that they should get for the things that they witness. Our system is failing in mental health in every way that you can imagine. And this case falls into that criteria. Something I want to make very clear is that with Lindsay Clancy, there are two options here. The first is she's guilty of first-degree murder and she goes to prison for life. The second option is she's not guilty by reason of, I think, what Massachusetts calls not being criminally responsible, which is basically not guilty by reason of insanity. It's just that that's not the terminology that they use. That will result in a significant psych hospitalization, of which she may eventually be released, but may not. We don't know. She would be hospitalized and evaluated for her safety, for being in the community. She will not get off for what she did in either respect. And I think that's an important part of this to remember. The difference here will be how she will be housed, not that she will be. She will be. We were talking yesterday about Andrea Yates. Andrea Yates, of course, was convicted of murder of her 5 children in her first trial. In her second trial, was found not guilty by reason of insanity, but she is still housed to this day. And some of that is actually by her own choice. She could seek evaluation and parole, and she doesn't. She is afraid of herself. She does not want to be out in the world. Lindsay Clancy is going to be in a very similar situation. Regardless of what the outcome of this trial is, she's not going to get away with what happened. She is not going to not face consequences for the deaths of her children. I think that highlighting this trial is extremely important because the mental health system failed her terribly. As a social worker, as the mother of a person with schizophrenia, I do have a lot of personal experience with a lot of what's being talked about in this trial, with psychosis, with these kinds of meds. And I can tell you that when someone is psychotic, they are not thinking about and planning their actions. They also can appear to be functioning normally. You don't know what's going on inside someone's head. Their behavior or their words will give it away at some point, which is exactly what happened here. Her behavior and words definitely did give it away. She was not doctor hopping, Angel. Let's be very clear about that. She was seeing a doctor, and she was sent to another doctor by that doctor, and she was going to emergency rooms in emergent situations. That is not doctor hopping. That is completely different from just not liking the outcome from one doctor and going to a different one. She was seeking help in every way that she could possibly find it. And her management of care was very poor. There were overlapping medications, overlapping dosages of the same medications happening because the managed care that she should have been getting, she was not getting. So it's really clear that the prosecution has a very narrow view that they want to give us of this case, which is she wasn't taking her meds by those 9 pill bottles, which was a very small portion of the story about her medication. And they also want to say, well, see, she saw this many doctors. She was desperate. Patrick was desperate. They were going to hospitals. She went to that thing in Rhode Island in which after one day they told her, we can't help you. You're not in the right place, and just sent her away. Like, she did not get good care. And the number of psych meds she was on over a period of 6 months, and I realized she wasn't taking them all at the same time. The problem is they all have a cumulative effect, and they all have an effect in the body that lasts longer than the time that you actually take that particular medication. So they're overlapping each other. She was on multiple antidepressants, some of them stacked at the same time. She wasn't on much in the way of antipsychotics at all, other than Seroquel, which she said made her feel much worse. And when she reported that it made her feel much worse, the doctor put her on a higher dose, which is so bizarre to me. The other thing that I've never seen, and I can't say for sure this didn't happen, but I've never seen any evidence of it, is I have not seen evidence that she had genetic testing. There is genetic testing that can be done for people to determine which psych medications are going to work for them and which ones are not. My son has had that genetic testing, and it did help us a lot in getting his mental health under control and his psychosis under control, because everybody metabolizes these medications differently, and some of them just really don't work with a person's genetics versus others that do. I don't know why anybody didn't do that. It is extremely helpful. And if you know someone who is struggling to manage and balance their mental health, make sure they've had that testing, because it is very helpful. I don't know why. I've never seen any evidence that she was given that. And I wish that she had been, because they probably would have found that something like Seroquel is a bad med for her. We found it was a bad med for my son. Right. Even mental health care providers seem to stigmatize mental health, particularly postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. These mental illnesses are stigmatized terribly. Mothers are blamed. Mothers are minimized. I mean, you even hear the prosecutor minimizing. Lindsay Clancy tried to kill herself in 3 ways that night. She took an overdose, she cut her wrists and her throat, and she threw herself out a second-story window in which she crushed multiple vertebrae and is now a paraplegic. But somehow for this prosecutor, that's still not enough to validate her as being seriously mentally ill at the time of this event. How many people try to kill themselves 3 times, right? Agreed. Right, Bambi. There's simply no denying that she was out of her right mind. She was. No one in their right mind would do this to their children and throw themselves out a second-story window after taking an overdose and cutting their wrists and throat. She was not in her right mind at the time that this occurred. Not long after this happened, a medication came out for postpartum depression. The first one, the very first medication that is indicated specifically for PPD. I think that tells us where we're at in the treatment of postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. We've finally received our only very first medication to treat this. It is not the same as other kinds of depression and as other kinds of psychosis because of the extreme hormonal imbalances that happen in a woman's body after giving birth. But it has not been studied. The treatment for it doesn't really exist. Irene says, I wonder if that testing is expensive as cancer gene testing. My insurance wouldn't cover it unless my mom tested positive. It is not that expensive. And for people who are already being treated for a mental illness, usually insurance does cover it. It is because it's so very valuable in helping providers know which medication. There are a lot of injectable antipsychotics, and my son would just burn right through them. They were supposed to last a month. He'd be great for a week or 2 weeks and then back to psychotic. And in the testing, we discovered that he actually can't take those. He metabolizes them too fast. But it really cut down on the endless trying of medication to have that genetic testing, when we could look at that and go, okay, we really know now which meds can be successful for this person and which ones are not. They should have given her that. But she doesn't know. She's going to the doctor, desperate for help. That's what they're doing. They're going everywhere, desperate for help. They are, Lindsay and Patrick were at the mercy of the mental health care system. And the mental health care system doesn't know how to treat this. It's such a horrific tragedy. It is heartbreaking for absolutely every single person who has been involved in this in any way. And there is no winning this case. My hope is that it brings attention to PPD and PPP, and that we see more awareness, and that we see a reduction in the stigma of these illnesses, because somehow a woman is just supposed to tough it up and do it. You don't understand. When a person is psychotic, their brain is lying to them and they don't know it. You don't know when you're psychotic. Only other people can tell, and that should be medical providers and family. When you, like, I can tell if my son is psychotic, but that's because we've been through this for a long time now. But the person with the illness doesn't know they have it. That is a hallmark of mental illness in general, but particularly psychosis. Lindsay couldn't tell anybody she was psychotic. She didn't know she was psychotic. That's a really important element that is so far being missed in this trial. I'm sure it will come up when we start getting more of the medical experts in. But you know, that was the prosecutor asked Patrick yesterday, did Lindsay tell you she was psychotic? Are you fucking kidding me? Lindsay couldn't have told him she was psychotic. Whatever she was experiencing that her brain was saying felt just real. Like this video you're watching of me right now feels absolutely real. You can't tell the difference between what is psychosis and what is real. You lose your grasp on reality. And I do feel that that's exactly what happened to Lindsay Clancy. And it's just such a tragic ending for these children, for their dad, for Lindsay, for their entire families, for all of these first responders, for this jury, for everyone that has to go through this. This is ugly and horrible for everybody. But it's heartbreaking to me to see how ignorant the prosecution team is of mental health and of understanding mental health. I don't understand this. Why are they not better educated? Why is our legal system not better educated about these things? We could go on for days about that. Oh, let's see. Fanny says, I went to the same ER in South Shore around the same month she went there. I was there for similar circumstances, experiencing intrusive thoughts and feeling out of touch, confused, and feeling depression. From my experience at South Shore Hospital, they left me alone for a long time overnight, and only the next day I was able to speak to a mental health professional. And that's terrible. That's terrible care. That should never have happened to you. Having intrusive thoughts, you should never have been left alone. Yeah. Right, right. We don't have good crisis help in this country. We just don't. I just hate every bit of this. And I honestly really debated with myself about whether or not to cover this particular trial. But I think it's so important because the world needs to be educated. And I suspect that outside the US, there is much better care and treatment for women with PPD and PPP because we do a shit job of it here in the US. And I'm not criticizing any individual mental health care providers. I know there are many people out there doing their best, but our system is not set up to help women like Lindsay Clancy. All righty. Well, that's it for today. Tomorrow they will start with The View. They're going to a couple of locations. I'm not sure what that means. I know they're going to the house where this event occurred. The defense asked for this. I do believe the defense wants to validate her suicide attempt, and I can understand why after listening to the way that the prosecution constantly minimizes it. I think he wants the jury to see the window she threw herself out of. She was not kidding when she tried to kill herself. And then there might be witnesses in the afternoon, so I will keep an eye on that. And if there are, we'll be back to we'll go back to streaming. Remember that the person who said they had a great happy-go-lucky summer was Patrick, not Lindsay, Patrick. Lindsay, who is trying to keep everything together for her husband and her 3 children. Lindsay was seeking care through that entire time and on medication through that summer. So don't get it twisted in your head that she was great and then she was terrible. No, she was terrible from birth on. But again, we're talking about stigma. She's the mother. She's the wife. She's the one not working. She's supposed to be holding it all together. Also remember that through that summer, they had nannies. Lindsay had help. And then things really fell apart when the help went away. So don't forget that that is not an accurate explanation of the timeline in Lindsay's experience. And they'll get into that with the doctors. But that's based just on Patrick. And of course, Lindsay wants Patrick to think she's okay. How many of you who are married to men know that feeling? Your husband just wants you to be happy and okay, right? And as a mother, as a wife, even if you're not okay on the inside, a lot of women are putting on a brave face and continuing to go, because that is the stigma that we're dealing with here. The expectation is that a woman should just be able to deal with it. Right. PPD can onset months after birth anyway. It can. PPD can onset in lots of ways. I was looking at Andrea Yates. She killed her children 8 months and 3 weeks after the birth of her last child. So it was similar time frame to Lindsay Clancy. It wasn't that far apart. Their cases are very similar. Over on our main channel, which is True Crime Squad, please, all of you that are new here, I'm seeing a lot of you, check us out, True Crime Squad. This is our trials channel. This is where we stream trials. But then our main channel is where we do all of our content. Next week, I'm going to do a case comparison between Lindsay Clancy and Andrea Yates on one of our regular episodes. We do 4 lives over there a week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then we're here when there are trials as well. But I think it will be interesting to do a comparison of their cases because her case, she's very, very well established as a PPP case. I think we're going to see Lindsay Clancy going forward as one as well. I know I do feel bad for the people who live in that house. I agree, Rosanna, that I think that's going to be tough. Yes, I agree, Bethy. The defense does need to educate the jury so they can understand something about PPD and PPP, and they will. That's definitely coming. The experts are on the witness list. But yes, they definitely need an education, because the defense is pretending like that just doesn't exist. And I just do not know how you can see this situation and think it doesn't. Hey. Right. I hope they knew too when they bought that house what happened there. I agree. All righty. Well, I'm going to let you go. We'll be live over on True Crime Squad Trials at 3 p.m. True Crime Squad, our main channel, at 3 p.m. Mountain with our regular Thursday case. And then I may be live back here tomorrow, depending on what happens after the view, if they're going to come back and do witnesses or not. The judge is really careful with this jury. So I know he said that might happen. I think it might not. If they're looking stressed and worn out from what they're witnessing, I think it's important, that the judge will determine whether they're going to be up for more witnesses or not. So we'll keep an eye on that. Please be sure to subscribe here on True Crime Squad Trials and hit the bell so that you get notifications, because you'll see when I schedule a live, you'll see that we're going to be live. Yeah, exactly. Don't make your decisions off one side of this case. That's really, really important, because things are extremely one-sided right now, but we're going to see more. Yeah, it does remind me a little bit of Kelsey Fitzsimmons in that way. Thank you all so much for being here. And you know it. I'm Christy with True Crime Squad Trials. Thanks for being here.